This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Racer consultants are standing by. We'll take caller 9-844-999-0 to play Profile This in minutes. And we do have your headlines on the way 1 hour from now. First, quick check into Mike Hawk for some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
All right, a writer for Forbes posted screenshots from his phone online after his grandmother got confused by a GIF, thought the looping video meant her phone was broken, and went straight to a Verizon store to have him fix it.
Oh. That makes sense.
I get it.
In theory.
If you don't know
it
what that
just
is.
keeps
showing it over and over.
But they've been around long enough, even if you are a little bit disconnected, how do you still not know what it is yet?
I don't know, man. There's people out there like my mother would not surprise me if she says, look, I can't get this off my screen.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, she's just that person. It's all right. We all expect it. If anyone's going to do that, it'll probably be her. And I'm not much better.
A woman in England.
I mean, right. My mom does the same thing.
Right.
And she'll be like, I can't go, like, I love my mother. But she's like, I can't go to the store because what's her name's not working. And I'm like, do you wait to go to, like, the phone store, like the Verizon store until a specific person is working? She's like, yes.
That person probably hates you. Like, oh, no, she's back there.
Right?
Yeah, and it was something simple. Like,
that's what I mean. Those persons.
That's my phone number. A woman in England died of breast cancer back in May, and PayPal just sent her husband a letter saying her death was a breach of contract for her outstanding credit balance. After he posted the letter on Facebook, PayPal apologized and cleared the debt.
Either way, aside from doing that, is the husband like, okay, that's her debt. I can't help you. I did not sign a contract with you.
Thanks for piling that on. Because, I just got a surplus of money here after my wife died of cancer.
That is hardcore, man, when death is a breach of contract.
mm-hmm.
Death is a breach of contract.
Hey, man, I can't help you at that point. Sorry.
Like, is that in the fine print? If you actually go into the contracts, can you actually find that? If you die, then
maybe
next of kin will be handed the debt?
I mean, they already do that with some stuff, right?
Yeah, true.
Like if it's a house or whatever and somebody died, then somebody else have to pick it up, or does it just go to foreclosure?
It's a little bit different. So somebody dies and they leave you the house, and if they have not finished paying the mortgage, then you're on the hook for picking up their payments. But if you say, look, let's just sell the house, you'll sell the house, get whatever profit you get, and get taxed on that.
Right.
You don't just get their debt. PayPal is saying, like, no, you just have her debt. You don't get any benefit. We're just like, if somebody died, so we're not going to give you the house. We're just going to give you the debt we have left in mortgage. No one would take that deal ever.
Mm-hmm. A married couple in Turkey was having problems earlier this year after the husband got a dog, and his wife gave him the ultimatum: it's me or the dog.
Don't do that with anybody.
You know how this is.
With anybody.
You know how this goes.
Yeah, don't
see you later.
You tell that to your wife, she's gone. She's taking the dog, she's leaving.
He went with the dog, and so they're getting divorced.
Yeah. Only put up that ultimatum if you don't have the guts to break up with them.
I think also, though, he knew.
Right.
Like, she didn't want the dog, and he was just like, screw it, I'm getting the dog.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no way he got blindsided by this.
Yeah. What has she denied him to where he felt the need to just straight up get this dog anyway?
A dog?
I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying.
I'm blaming everybody, Ted.
I know. What did she do to make him get this dog and despite her?
That's right.
They're probably
Spite on both sides.
probably just done with it, and he really wanted a dog.
Right. Screw it. It's going down the tube. I'm getting a dog. We already talked about that. A scammer overseas stole someone's identity in New Hampshire in March, then ordered a laptop to their local UPS station. He needed someone to ship it to him, so he posted an ad and a woman responded. But she wound up just keeping the laptop herself. This was a scammer that stole somebody's identity to get a laptop, and she just stole it.
The grifters.
Yes. She was arrested for theft of scamming a scammer.
I want you to think about it.
Why would you, if you're a scammer?
He's using her credit card to buy this stuff, all right? Mm-hmm. And she picks up on this. So he buys a new computer. She keeps the new computer because she paid for it. And then she gets arrested
for scamming
the guy that's using her ID.
I don't think that's quite accurate. Just
then
kind of based on
never
the information that I have here. He stole somebody's identity, used that identity to ship
it wasn't
that laptop.
her ID.
Correct.
Right.
He's just going in to scam him.
Never
He needed
mind.
somebody that was there to ship it to him. They said, I'm going to keep it.
Never mind.
There's a woman in Canada who hit the lottery in 2013 and won $1,000 a week for life. But instead of spending it on herself, she started a charity, and she's spent the last 5 years giving it all away.
Oh, good for her.
I've told this story
Sort
many
of.
times, but I worked at a bar/liquor store, and they had a thing going for a while. The same thing. It was like $1,000 a week. So this one guy won it, right?
All right.
And there was this regular that came in. He had this real kind of scratchy voice. All right. But every time this other guy came in, as he bought the ticket after him, he would just start going, $1,000 a week for life. And he would, like, the guy stopped coming to the bar. This other idiot wouldn't stop screaming at him.
Oh, Jesus.
Right, just because he got the one next to him.
When it's really hot outside, it makes people dumber, according to a new study.
Okay.
Think about the places that get hot.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the
all
things
the
you
dumb
hear
people.
out of those places.
Yes. The researchers found that when there's a heat wave, students get lower scores on tests than they do when the weather is nicer.
Because
Yeah.
they're miserable.
Right. It's so hot. I mean,
Lord,
Like
You
crime
can't
goes up,
think.
everything goes up.
Everything.
People are agitated.
You
it's
get
warm.
real hostile when you can't cool
and then when you
down.
go to an inner city
Yeah.
school where they haven't, built new schools or anything, you don't have
115
air
degrees,
conditioning,
right.
you don't have anything. Like
Exactly.
Baltimore cities, they have just so hot you can't even breathe.
So I stopped going.
I mean, that's one of the things when you go to Burning Man. They're like, you better like the people you're with. Because even if you're best of friends, spend
yeah.
a week in the desert, like, you're going to beat each other through.
You're going to come to blows. When it's this hot out, some people store their cash in their socks or their bra. We've heard about this every year. There are pictures circulating on social media of different businesses' signs refusing money covered in foot or boob sweat.
It's just, come on, man.
It's disgusting.
There was a lady in the old building that we worked at as a smoker. Every once in a while, you forget your lighter, matches, whatever. So there's a woman who I recognize smokes, mostly because she's smoking at the time. But I walk up and like anyone, hey, do you have a lighter I could borrow? She's like, absolutely. And I'm not kidding. She reaches into her shirt, like lifts up her boob, man, pulls us and hands it to me. And dude, it's wet. And I'm just like,
Wet boob lighter.
It was so, I lit my cigarette, but it's like, I'll take this boob sweat
Then
on
he
my
had a
fingers.
sheen on his hand.
Yeah, that's all about
Lighters, money, drugs. Those are things that get hidden in bras. Yeah. And socks.
It's funny. I say that about the money and the light. If they had drugs, I'd be like, cool.
There's a good chance if you dabble in drugs, you've had sock drugs.
And worse.
Every portion of vegetables you add to your plate lowers your stress levels by 5%, according to a new study.
That is not true. That is palpably not
Lowers your
true for me.
stress levels.
No, that I do
Right.
not believe that.
How exactly do you measure a stress level?
It's just fruits and vegetables are just those things. Like, nobody really wants to eat them. And then people that eat them all the time go, don't you feel better after you eat that? And you have to be like, I guess I feel a little bit better.
Right. Because I know I didn't eat, like, Cheetos.
Because I eat crap.
Right.
Like,
Maybe that's
that's
the
all they're
only
saying.
positive
But that's
thing.
the question. Do you physically feel better at all, or do you just mentally feel better? Because like you said, you didn't eat garbage.
You're still hungry, though.
Doesn't say that means that there is a level of stress that you put on what you're eating.
A lot of people, not me.
I mean, if you're
but
eating right, if you're eating vegetables and that brings down your stress, doesn't that say that you stress about not eating vegetables?
That's correct.
No, I think it's more just like their actual foods. So they legit kind of help that stuff.
Sure, I mean, they're going to make you feel better. They truly do.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to get them all over your tongue, but they'll make you feel better.
I love Doritos. Like, that's not a natural food.
But it makes me feel better and lowers my stress level.
Let's see, a man who works at a Subway posted a story about a woman who said she was vegan but ordered mayonnaise on her sandwich. Now, for those of you that don't know, veganism is no animal product whatsoever. No meat, no cheese, no milk, no eggs, no nothing. When he told her that mayo has egg whites in it, it appeared to shatter her entire world.
But did you see how it ended up?
Yes, she got mayonnaise anyway.
She got mayonnaise anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said, "Look, man, it's not vegan. There's eggs in it."
She
you
walked
know?
out defeated.
I mean, if you're getting a vegetarian sub or whatever, like, I'd have to imagine for her, mayonnaise was like the go-to condiment.
Have fun being vegan. Guess what?
She still liked it.
Now I'll take a sub with nutritional yeast on it. That just sounds weird, putting yeast on stuff.
Yeah. A man in India who's been growing something record-breaking for 66 years is finally cutting him down.
An
What's that?
erection.
I'll tell you all about it 1 hour from now.
Thank you, Mike Hawk. Headlines are on the way 1 hour from now, but first, the game is...
The Men's Room presents Profile
And
This.
Stephen Throwhill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where I share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Monty. Welcome to the Men's Room.
What's up, guys?
Hola, Santa Claus. All right, you understand how this here game is played.
Oh, yes, I do.
All right, fantastic. Mike Hogg touched on this briefly only moments ago, but we both agreed this would be the story for today. And in this case, Greed, our good friend Greed, rears its ugly head. We go to Nova Scotia, Canada, where a woman says she plans to sue her nephew for cashing in on half of her Chase the Ace winnings in the local lottery. Why, you may ask? Well, the organizers say that both names were on the ticket, so they issued separate checks to the woman and her nephew. However, she says she only put her nephew's name on the ticket for good luck and never intended to split the winnings with him, which is ridiculous. It's like signing two names on a mortgage and say, I had no intention of sharing the house. Anyway, at a price of $1.2 blah, 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 blah million, they each get to take home about $611,000. In spite of both names being on there, she's going to sue her nephew to try to get her money. Do you believe that this woman is black, white, Asian, or Jew?
Ooh, I want to lean white on this one, just because I feel like white people play the lotto more than any other ethnic group.
Brother, I'm going to tell you this, and I don't care where you go in this country. Take any ethnic group, I'm going to say roughly the same percentage anyway, is playing the lotto. What people perceive as free money is an incredible intoxicant. People absolutely play the lotto.
Man, I think I'm leaning Jewish, though.
All right.
Where was
That
it?
was
again?
an
Scotia.
option, right?
Yes, that was an option. It was black, white, Asian, or Jewish, and it's in Nova Scotia, Canada. If I can find
Canada. You know what? Actually, final answer, I'm going to go Asian.
Asian final answer.
Asian's a little different, but man, I liked your first instinct though. I just feel like the urge to be like, I'll sue you or sue a family member feels pretty white.
And you put their name on the damn
how
ticket.
she can't win this, by the way.
There's no way.
I'm going black.
Oh, good call, man. Nova Scotia.
I'm going black because I've got a theory on this, but whatever.
What's
Gonna
your
stick
theory?
with that. My theory is that when extended family lives together, which I'm assuming is happening here. For them
That
to
I
win
do
the
not
lottery.
know, but maybe.
But
Sure.
maybe they're in the same household. They have to. Then black or Asian. So you can eliminate
Okay,
white or
I see what
Jewish.
you're saying.
So that would be my guess, but I don't know. So you're going to stick with Asian final answer, Monty?
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of Asians in Canada, I've noticed.
All right, we're going to find out if they were black, white, Asian, or Jewish next.
That was a tease.
You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Profile this takes us to Nova Scotia, Canada, and a woman and her nephew. They won $1,000 a week for life.
They won $1.2 million. They have to split it so they each get over $600,000.
Yeah, but she put her nephew's name on the back of the ticket.
Yeah.
Therefore, he is a rightful owner of that prize, but she doesn't think so. She said she put it there for luck, and now she's suing him for his half of the winnings.
Yeah, but she already admitted that she put his name there. But either way, Monty, we asked you, did you believe that this woman was black, white, Asian, or Jewish? And in the end, you went white. Is that correct? Or no, you went Asian?
No, I went Asian, but now I'm kind of wishing I'd stuck with my original guess, Jewish. Although I have a question. Does Middle Eastern count as Asian? Because I know it does sometimes.
Yeah, generally speaking, depending where the country is, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Black. Yes.
Oh.
Isn't Nova Scotia like one of the places a bunch of freed slaves moved up to?
It is.
I want to
It
say
is.
it's one of the first hockey teams was a black hockey team.
It was. And it came out. It's funny because Mike this morning walks into the office. And we were tracking on stories, I think, pretty much subject for subject. He's like, man, look at this one. I said, I know. It's Nova Scotia, Canada. No one's going to guess black. It's
I know.
just.
When Miles said
Except
I was like,
Ted. And
well,
it's
I didn't say
amazing.
it. Miles was the one that said
Oh,
it, right?
that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Now for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box,
Armageddon!
the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
Are you guys up to date on celebrity couples at all? I'm not bringing up the wedding.
I like to think that for the most part, you see that stuff all the time.
You see it, but I don't retain any of it.
It's on CNN.
There's like the big ones. So I know like Jay-Z, Beyonce. I understand that. Kanye, what's her face? Like, but after that, man.
Kim A?
Oh, right. Her. Again, I'm like, what's her face?
Well,
Kardashian,
Kanye
yeah,
and Kim together, right?
oh,
Is it a
Kim
Kim
Ye.
A? Kim Ye?
I think it's Kim Ye, not
Kim
Kim
Ye.
A.
Kim A.
Kim A.
Come on.
Yeah, and man, we don't have as many good nicknames anymore.
No.
Like, remember Benifer?
Sure.
Which now sounds
Aflac
like a drug that you buy late night. Do you
Yeah.
suffer from so-and-so?
Jennifer Lopez?
Try Bennifer.
Yeah.
It'll make your
Brangelina.
butt bigger.
Bradgelina?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Franklin.
there were some good ones, man. We used to have some buddies that was, well, anyhow, they broke up, but it was a fun name they had for a while.
Oh, yeah. I know. What about Beyonce and Jay-Z? Why don't we come up with a name for them?
Because they're the king and queen.
Oh, after that.
I'm with you.
Call him JB.
So Dax Shepard, he's married to Kristen Bell. You've probably seen them a bunch. So he's talking about two crazy things here. Well, actually, that's a lie. One crazy thing is, I don't know if you've seen that picture of her, but she wears gloves in the pool.
Gloves in the pool, yeah, to avoid pruny fingers.
Right.
Or so she says.
I don't know, man. It's a weird look.
Yeah, I saw that picture, and I'm like, what have we here? I assumed she was on a movie set. Right? So the picture they're putting on the internet, I saw it. I was intrigued, so I click on it, thinking again, like, what movie is she filming? Because it looks like it's going to be a comedy.
Yeah.
And then I read it, and I'm like, oh, she's just crazy.
You would think that those gloves would make your hands prunier because it's more...
Hey, man, I don't know the theory.
I'm with you, unless they're, like, skin tight.
Right. That's because the water's still going to seep in, but now it's going to be trimmed.
Fun in the sun. Everybody.
But also, Dax talks a little bit about the first time they met and hanging out, and basically, he's been in the dark for years about her boobs.
We're in the hot tub. It's our first date. It's going well. We're in the hot tub. And I'm kind of talking to her, and I'm like thinking of something, and apparently I'm looking in this area. I was not staring at her boobs. But she goes, what are you, looking at my fake? And I was like, no, I wasn't, but okay, those are fake. Great. I then later, much later, father-in-law, saw them in real life. And I was like, those are inordinately perky. That's clue number 2. They're fake.
Right.
So we will occasionally run into somebody that has really gigantic fake boobs. And then she'll start talking about the person's big, big boobs. And then I'm just like, what am I supposed to do right now? Like, jump on board and be like, yeah, those are crazy. Finally, after months of this, I go, I don't know what you want me to do. Is this a trap? Do you want me to say something about their fake boobs? And she's like, what are you talking about? I go, well, because you have fake boobs. And she goes, I don't have fake boobs. And I go, yes, you told me you did. She goes, I was joking. And the weirdest thing about this whole story is that while I thought they were augmented, I had very little interest in them. The day I found out those suckers were al natural, all natural, I was very interested.
If you go watch the full interview with the Men's Room Facebook page, he also explains why she was wearing the beekeeper gloves in the pool.
Okay.
He even says, like, look, she's strange. I don't get it. It's not that she minds so much to get pruned, but she doesn't want to touch other people. Which, again, the pruning is just evolution. So you can grip rocks and stuff if you were in a body of water.
That is specifically why it happens. So that you
Mike,
can get out of the situation.
You don't look like you
you're
believe
in.
me.
No, I fully believe you.
Oh, all right.
He gives you that look all the time. He just thinks you're stupid and he doesn't like you. No, but
Well, I've told that theory to other, not theory, but I've told people that about evolution, and that's why you prune up. Not because, when we were kids, it was always like, get out of the
Get out
water.
of
You've
here,
been in there
pruning.
too long. But I told it to somebody else, and they repeated it to their friend, and their friend ran to me and was like, where did you learn this? Like, is this real? And I was
it's
like,
a
yeah,
thing
dude.
called science, and they cleverly. And here's the thing: they do hide this information in a thing called books, and then they also put it in this place no one goes called the World Wide Web of information. So sometimes you can go there and find out real things. It's amazing how that works.
What comedian have we talked about on the show recently?
Howie Mandel.
Right, and we were shocked, right?
What, that he was still relevant?
Just that he was doing a special, and I don't know,
My argument
I know
was
he's a
this.
host on a game show, but you don't. Howie Mandel doesn't come up a ton.
Other than that, okay. So
He
someone
also has a show on, I want to say Nat Geo or something. Where he's doing
somebody had called, and part of their story was just that they were watching a Howie Mandel comedy special on HBO, and we said it had to be a million years ago. There's nothing against Howie Mandel, but when he was as high as he ever got on his comedy thing, like that was not recent.
Right. I mean,
I had hair on top of my head, I think, the last time.
Right, and what I remember was from Bobby's World. Bless you.
Good God, Mike.
So he's on a late night talk show. Howie Mandel, ironically, a day later, has a pretty insane stand-up, I guess, comedy
Are you
party.
kidding?
No, but the end of it makes a lot of sense why they hired him.
I got offered to do a private party at a house, and I said, I don't do a private party. And then they called me back and they said, how much would it take? There's got to be a price. And there was a price, and I told them the price. And it was more than most people make a year. And they said, okay. And then I said, that sounds weird. Cash. cash. And they went, okay, and they delivered all this cash. And it was way up in the hills, in the canyons here in L.A. And I asked my wife if she wanted to join me, and she said no. And I was scared. and I'm driving up there, and in the middle of the night, I drive up there, and there's a woman, a scantily clad woman, in the middle of the street that kind of stops my car. And I go, yeah. She goes, are you Howie Mandel? And I go, yeah, this way. I will take the car. And I get out of the car, and we go through the hedges and across the pool, and I hear some noise in the house and everything. And then I go in the pool house. I go, and they said, wait here until you hear, ladies and gentlemen, Howie Mandel. And I open the door, and there's like 8 guys doing things. Nobody had clothes on. And there's 8 guys.
It's an orgy.
It was an orgy. There was 16 women doing things. The guys going, oh, do the Bobby voice. Do the Bobby voice. You know, and then...
Oh, to tell you what they wanted.
They're making requests. But the thing is, but I said, why would they hire me? And then a week later, I'm walking in a mall here in L.A., and a wife comes up and says, you're Howie Mandel. And I go, yeah. She goes, oh, my husband told me that he went to a bachelor party 2 weeks ago, and you were the entertainment. And I look like 100 yards back, and the guy's going, so I was hired to be an excuse.
You were the cover.
I'm a bachelor party.
Wow.
That's different.
That is crazy.
Right? Can you imagine that, paying that much money for somebody in cash just so you have an excuse to say, oh, yeah, and we hired Howie Mandel. First of all, in this day and age, right, if somebody said we paid, a bachelor party hired Howie Mandel to,
for what?
Yeah, that's
why is he coming
excuse
to the bachelor party?
Yeah. Like, if you were like, I don't know, we hired, like Michael Jordan to come by and like shoot hoops with us. Like, I could fathom that. Or even if it was like a filthy comedian, right?
Right.
But I'm like, Howie Mandel is kind of a clean cut, like, family guy. Like, I just be like, dude, this bachelor party was wild. Howie Mandel
did a routine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get that. By the way, Mike Hawk, you sneeze very loud, and it was confirmed to us earlier this week during a segment on this program. And I don't know
this
if
very
it's
segment.
Right, but was it this segment?
It was.
Yeah.
Ted and I distinctly heard this strange noise twice, and we're looking at each other, but it sounded like some technical...
Was that you through the wall?
That was me through the wall.
So, yeah, I found out, I'm like, that couldn't have been him.
These
And
are soundproof walls.
our buddy VD was like,
Well,
no, man, it was Mike.
They're walls.
Yeah.
In between
They're
studios.
soundproofy.
I have big sneezes.
Kind of.
Yeah. I've talked a lot about, all these shows are coming back. So the one, I think a few weeks ago, someone was mad about you, right?
That's right.
I didn't really see that one. I was like, that one's coming back. Paul Reiser, who was one of the stars about Mad About You, basically, he's like, look, I don't think it's happening. He says, quote, it's kind of stuck in the business end of it now. That's where I just walk away and go, call me when you figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens at that level. They make their deals with whoever they make their deals with. So if it happened, right? So we'll see if it happens. It may not happen. It likely won't happen. My guess is it won't happen.
Okay. He has the right idea,
He's
though.
right.
Like, all right, you're getting stuck in all the corporate crap. Like, when you figure it out, just let me know.
Do you know who the other star of Mad About You was?
Helen Hunt.
Yes.
Was it her?
Yeah.
Okay.
She kind of disappeared.
I knew it was a blonde
Both
chick.
of them did. That happens a lot.
Well, Paul Reiser, I just haven't seen in general. But I mean, Helen Hunt, she had a good movie career, right?
She did pretty well for a while, I think. And then Paul Reiser shows up oddly every once in a while. Whether it's a movie or a TV show, like they'll bring someone typically to play like a super douche or a mean lawyer or something like that. Like, he's the guy.
I don't know this. He's probably one of those guys, too, that kind of disappeared from in front of the camera and does
He
something.
strikes me as that type, yeah.
Yeah.
Loved him in Aliens, however. Great movie.
Yeah. Maybe you just get to a point where it's like, screw it.
Tired of his ass.
Right. You just go, I don't know, work out, eat food.
I don't think he was doing that.
I don't either.
Paul Reiser?
Yeah. Doesn't strike me as the workout type.
All right. So Conan O'Brien always has fighters on his show, right? Daniel Cormier, I say that right? Cormier? DC.
Cormier.
I like DC. I'm a fan of his. Mike, not so much.
Negative.
I really like the guy. So a while ago, he was on Conan's show. This was before. Keep in mind, he's the light heavyweight champion. He was going to fight Stipe to be also the two belt. He was going to be the heavyweight champion as well. So this is before the fight, and he went on Conan's show.
You almost canceled on us.
Yes, I did.
Why?
You've got a bit of a bad reputation in the MMA community. As I date back to watching people that have sat in this particular
Many
chair.
MMA fighters have sat in that chair just before a big bout.
Ronda Rousey came and she got thrashed. Then you even doubled up on Nick Diaz and Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
So Conor came before the first fight and he was supposed to beat Nate, and then he lost.
Right. Just after being on my show.
Just after being on your show.
Yes.
And then Nate came in the second fight when he's supposed to beat Conor, and then he lost.
Yes.
So up until yesterday,
yeah,
I wasn't coming.
Yeah. This is a death seat, what you're sitting in right now.
It's very dangerous, and it feels hot.
Yeah.
It feels really hot.
Listen, you're here to break the curse. That's what you're going to do.
I like challenges.
I will tell you from personal experience on the podcast, we have had this curse ourselves with some local fighters where they kept losing. Like to the point of I felt bad inviting some people on, right? But eventually, I think it was Tyrone Henderson broke the streak or whatever. DC, he's got 2 belts now. He's the light heavyweight champion of the world. He's the heavyweight champion of the world. And he came back to Conan triumphantly.
On Saturday night, he broke the curse. Please welcome the UFC's new heavyweight champion, Daniel Cormier. How soon after you won this match did you think about the Conan curse?
Immediately. When I got to the back, UFC PR came over and they said, great job, things are going to get crazy. I said, nothing's crazier than the fact that I just won this fight, even though I went to Conan.
Other people had warned you, don't do Conan's show. Isn't that right?
Yeah, they said, don't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, the fans were, the betting line, I was like a minus 160 underdog. The day after I left here, I was up at 240.
Yeah.
Plus 240. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, everybody bet their money on Stipe.
Right. We've broken it now. We thank you. We thank you for that.
I like the idea.
That's funny.
Like, obviously, that was not his first thought.
Right.
But I like the idea, right?
That it is.
Right? Like, he's in there, right? And I mean, look, to his credit, man, I mean, DC, basically, here's the deal with him, right? He beats everybody except he's lost to John Jones twice.
Okay.
John Jones also pees dirty, basically, after each fight. So there's an art, and then he goes up to heavyweight, and Stipe, to me, was a great champ. DC knocks him out. So, I mean, he's standing there, he's holding both belts, but I love the idea, like, McGregor was the first guy to do it. He's the second person to ever hold 2 at one time. He's just like, the hell with Conan.
Right. I've defeated Conan. By the way, Ted, we got an update. They are 100% correct on this. You don't watch the show, Miles. I think you still do. Paul Reiser, where has he been? Very recently.
I watched the show?
You do not, I don't think. Miles, you do Stranger Things.
Oh. Huh. Okay.
He was like the main bad-ish guy.
It.
And the thing is, he's right.
I haven't seen season 2.
Okay, well, I watched the whole season. It's 8 episodes. Mm-hmm. He was the guy. And I remember even thinking to myself, I'll be goddamn, that's Paul Reiser. And then when you bring him up again, I don't know, 6 months later, I'm like, he hadn't done anything.
Huh.
Yeah, I know.
That's cool.
I wonder what he's up to. It's like, I just saw one of the most popular shows in the world right now.
I'm going to get back on that after I get done with S Creek, but I can't say the name of it, so I don't know how they promote the show.
That is a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the funny thing. Like, I recently got into Netflix a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Like, I remember when Stranger Things came out, like Stranger Things 2, like, I was like, how are you people watching this stuff? Like, you watched a whole season in a day?
They put it all out at once.
No, I know, but I get it now.
Yeah.
Like, I never really understood the binge watching to that level, except for, like, on demand, right? Like, you could do that. But, yeah, man, the autoplay and everything.
It just keeps rolling.
It does just keep rolling.
It does not
and
stop
I have no problem with
until
that.
you make it stop.
Like, I got another 20 minutes in me.
Why not?
That is, I will say, that is the one downside to it.
Yes.
Especially, like I like Luke Cage, but that's an hour-long show. And then you get sucked in.
Is that worth checking out?
Yes.
People say, what episode you're on? I'm like, I don't know. They just keep rolling over.
Right. That's exactly it.
I press play, and it picks right back up.
You more have to talk about where you're at in the show as opposed to what specific episode you're on.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's tough, too, right? Because sometimes, as I say, I got into the crime dramas a lot. So Narcos was the first thing I watched.
Right.
And that's an hour long, but I think I blew through that thing in like a couple of weeks.
It's because you start clock watching. Like, dude, it's 3:30 in the morning.
Kind of sucks
like,
when you're done.
You have to go to bed. It's like one more episode.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. All right, Mike's got your headlines coming up here in just a few minutes. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go to England, where a man kills wife after she makes fun of the size of his junk. Meanwhile, a man is sleeping when a 6-foot boa constrictor crashes through the ceiling and lands on his bunk. Kansas City councilwoman bites cop's hand so hard she breaks a bone. In North Carolina, Golden Corral workers look to the air ducts when they hear someone moan. And a man cuts his fingernails for the first time in 66 years. It is time for your headline.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's Mike Hawk.
All right, our top story. In India, a man that prided himself for having the world's longest fingernails is relinquishing his titles and having them cut off. The man has spent the last 66 years growing the nails of his left hand to point to the point that they have achieved record-setting status. They were taken off with a mini power saw after he complained of pain in his arm, what do you know, shoulder, and fingertips due to the weight. And yes,
he never broke one nail. Like on that hand, like all that curling around and all that stuff. Like you think about think about, God, he had to be so careful, I would guess, all the time. What a pain in the ass that would be for your entire life not to be able to use that hand, essentially.
The good news is, you have that hard-to-reach spot on your back when it itches.
He can scratch.
Yeah, he's
got a nail that'll get there.
Should be noted that his hand is permanently disfigured from growing the nails, leaving him unable to open a hand or even flex his fingers.
You're kidding me.
Well, he's sat like this, man.
Stuck in that position.
Yeah, he had this kind of gravekeeper hand droop down look for 66 years. Well, probably about...
So he basically,
how long would you lose?
Kind of froze in place like that.
Exactly. And he's 82 years old, so he's not going to get that kind of muscle back, man. In other news, brace yourself, Ted. A man in New York was jolted awake when his upstairs neighbor's pet fell on him in the middle of the night. Officers have determined that the 6-foot boa constrictor escaped its enclosure in the apartment and managed to fall through the ceiling of the apartment below it. Officers arrived on the scene and the animal was returned to its owner.
That is horrifying.
I mean, look, I'm not scared of snakes at all. But like I said to Miles today, but if I'm dead asleep and a 6-foot boa constrictor lands on me and I wake up to that, I am going to freak out.
Yeah, I mean, that's honestly a nightmare for me.
Is there any snake in particular that's worse than the other, Ted? Like, is a boa constrictor the worst that you could get, or is like a cobra the worst?
Oh, no. Any venomous snake.
There you go.
Like a pit viper, rattlesnakes.
But I think we'd all agree.
Like those things are the worst.
Nobody wants a snake to fall in their bed, but yes, I'll take the boa constrictor over a king cobra if I have an option.
Right, I guess I take a black snake, but I don't want to take any snakes.
Yeah.
Ted's point is none of them are cool.
Just trying to see if there's a level there, Ted. In Ontario, a woman rented a black Nissan Sentra from a company last month and immediately took it to the local Walmart to do some shopping. When she finished, she got into her newly rented car and drove it home, going about her business. 2 weeks later, when she returned the car, she commented to the manager that the car was unkempt and even had a set of golf clubs in the back, which didn't set off a signal at all to her. The manager noticed that she had returned the wrong key fob. It was not Nissan key fobs, but Infinity key fobs that she had returned.
Checked the car. Company, though.
Checked the car that she had returned. Turns out she had gotten into the wrong car at the Walmart that she had shopped at, which had the correct key fob in the car. Started the car and drove off because the key fob just needs to be in the car for those.
So they left the
to
key
work
in there. So all the doors open. You get in. You just take off.
Right. The police had the car as stolen and it was returned to the rightful owner. And they also issued out, hey, people, maybe don't keep your key fob in your car.
Right.
Because it also keeps the car unlocked for her and just allows her to turn the car right on. Fun times. We go to North Carolina, where employees at a Golden Corral noticed that the smoke from the kitchen was not ventilating properly from over the stove. Employees investigated the issue and ended up checking the ventilation ducts on the roof of the building. They opened up the duct to reveal a man inside that had tried to break into the restaurant the night earlier. He was freed from the vent and taken to the hospital, and he now faces felony breaking and entering charges along with a slew of
I
others.
found the problem the Vince finds the dude in it.
How did the man not die?
What is when people getting stuck in the places that we had the panic or the escape room guy a couple days ago? Now this guy, look, and we're not telling you to be better criminals, but honestly, be better criminals.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You're embarrassing yourself.
Do better, people. Come on.
Yeah. The escape room guy is still my favorite.
Yeah, and it's even called an escape room.
I'm just trying to figure out how you start okay in a duct and then you get stuck in there.
Because I think
Did you get fatter on the way down?
It just gets narrower as you go down, man, to the point that it's going to reach the kitchen.
Maybe it takes a turn, 45-degree angle or something, like where you just got to...
Maybe. I don't know.
What happened to the good old-fashioned smash and grab?
Mm-hmm. Stay out of the life of
Throw
crime,
a goddamn trash can through the window, run in, run out.
I don't know.
In New York, a man has been arrested by police pulling a stunt in the subway system. Police arrested the man after they found him riding on top of the subway as it came into the station.
Jeez.
After they arrested him, they learned that this was not the first time he had attempted this, but the fourth.
He rides on the doors. This guy, have you ever seen the videos of this guy?
No, I
He's
just know that
amazing.
this was like one of the first times that they had actually recorded him. Like, they were taking an Instagram video of it, and they caught him. It's like,
Did he tell them that he had done it before?
No.
Or I guess all the info came out.
They busted him.
Okay.
This just happened to be the first, yeah. I like how they put in the story, like, this man is lucky that he was caught by police and not ended up in the hospital.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
I get it.
if you fall off of a moving subway, there's a good chance you might not make it out.
But that's not luck. He volunteered to do that.
Correct. We go to Kansas, where a councilwoman did not take her arrest well. She was arrested for failing to appear in court on separate charges and resisted arrest by kicking, hitting, and scratching arresting officers. It actually got bad enough. Oh, I lost my headline back here. We're just going to start that guy up.
It's time.
Start from the top. Let's start from the top.
Okay.
Here's my car.
All right, our top story in India. A man prided himself for having the world's longest... okay. Her arrest, she actually got bad enough that the officers had to tase her to subdue her. 3 days later, she refused to comply with the booking process by refusing to remove her jewelry. As they were trying to remove the jewelry by force, she again attacked an officer and even bit down on his thumb hard enough to break the bone.
You said this is an elected official?
This is a congresswoman.
And they also said, someone also commented, like the quote was, yeah, she's not doing well. And she's not right.
Exactly.
Is there any
Does
elected
this look like the
official-
face of a sane woman?
Look at that. I mean, that was an arresting mugshot.
And that's the state of our country
That's it for your headlines with that. Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time for the return of Ted versus the FCC. Bad jokes, and we will drink and toast with a shot of the day.
Yes, indeed, it's all true, but in the meantime, we be all about this ride. So until next time, please, do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.